Welcome, everybody, to your April 2026 messages and energy overview. This is the Inner Circle podcast, and I'm Devin Dewar. You are very welcome here. We are going to be going through all 12 signs, and as always, I have bonus messages at the end to clarify anything that resonated with you. So definitely pay attention to anything that shows up as an angel bump, or you feel like maybe that message is for me. And I like to encourage you to listen to all 12 signs, not just your big three, your sun, moon, and rising, because you do have all 12 signs in your birth chart. And depending on what degree the planets are currently at during this month, it could be in different houses. And that's why you might resonate with a different sign. So I really encourage you to listen to all 12 signs. Stay tuned for those bonus messages below. And we're going to jump right into these messages for April 2026. A big reminder here, we have a huge planetary movement on April 25th. Uranus moves out of the sign of Taurus for good. It moved in there at first in 2018 and moves into Gemini, the sign of Gemini. It will be there for a while, and it did dip into Gemini last year in 2025 for just a short period of time. So you started to feel those experiences, but then it went retrograde. So it's going to be interesting to see the way this shifts. And I do encourage you to think back to 2017, 2018, and look at the things that have changed. Look at the way your goals have shifted, and look at the things that you strive for now compared to what you did back then. Uranus is the planet of disruption and innovation and technology. And so big changes are on the horizon. And these messages are here to help you really focus on how you can navigate this energy and use it to your highest interest. I do always say that prayer protection, making sure that I only connect with the highest vibrational beings when I connect with these messages and that they are in your highest interest. So you're here listening because there are messages for you. All right, getting started with the Aries. Happy birthday, Aries. I hope you've been celebrating a lot. I know that some of you are March Aries, some of you are April Aries, but to all of you, I hope you're celebrating all year long. And let's see what we have for your first card for April 2026 for Aries. Your first card is the King of Air. Wow. Energy of communication, knowledgeable, objective, and respected. Hopefully you are communicating a lot of the things that you want to see for your birthday celebration for the next year. What are the things that you're doing for yourself this year? Your second card is the Eight of Fire. The Eight of Fire says events moving at a fast pace, delays are over, many things happening at once. Now, this goes for all of us wherever we have Aries in our chart because we have so many planets in Aries in the month of April. So we're all feeling many things happening at once, but we're going to pull this all together. But first, let me get your third card, which is the Spring card. You can't make this stuff up. Awakening, projects, and renewal. All right, you guys. Well, happy spring equinox to those of you in the Northern Hemisphere. Happy fall to those of you in the Southern. I know we have a lot of you listening from there, and we welcome you. It is a pivotal shift in the energy. And I love when I shuffle these decks, not knowing what I'm going to pull, and everything just lines up. So getting started right away, pulling this together for the Aries, I want you to think about things that you feel confident communicating to those around you. Things you feel confident sharing with the world. You are mastering that energy this month. Maybe you launched a podcast or a YouTube last year, and now you're really starting to feel confident in the messages you're delivering. Maybe it's something with your business and your community, and you're starting to feel like things are picking up pace. But if you're retired or a student or a stay-at-home parent, this could be just the way you're communicating on a day-to-day basis with those around you. And one of the big messages that Aries have gotten for the last probably 6 months or so is to make sure you are communicating to those around you what your goals are, what your needs are, what your desires are, so they can support you, okay? You are being asked to bring people with you on your journey. I know that sometimes you feel like it's easier just to do it yourself, but you are being asked to have a community of people who support you in your goals and the things that you want in your life. And don't get so far ahead of them or forget to tell them what it is that you were doing. And this always makes me think about the fact that if you're familiar with the technique of human design, I'm an emotional manifester in human design. And one of the big things that we're taught to do with that energy is to inform before we act. And I know from past experiences that if I don't explain what it is that I need from my team in a really helpful way, if I don't give the reason or the strategy for what I'm doing, people can't support me in the way they want to. It can lead to hurt feelings. It can lead to wasting money or resources. So this is also what's coming through for you guys, just taking a little extra time to communicate your vision, communicate your needs. And like I said, you don't have to be working on a career for this. You could be retired and this could be a plan you have for the year. This could be you as a student really seeking something that you want for your future, making sure you're on the right path for that. So make sure you're communicating those things. We did have Mercury retrograde for most of March. It does not come out of its shadow until April 9th. So it may be something that you're thinking about right now as we move into April at the time you're hearing these messages, but you're not really ready to communicate it until we get more closer to the middle of the month or the end of the Aries season, which I want to say off the top of my head, the sun moves out of your sign and into Taurus on the 19th of April. So you'll probably start to feel around the middle of the month, okay, now I'm confident sharing my visions with those around me. And these could be intimate conversations with a spouse or a future spouse. You know, maybe you're engaged and you haven't had clarity on how you want to have your wedding and how it wants to look. I'm just using that as an example because we have this spring card here about new beginnings and rebirth. But it may have nothing to do with the relationship for you. With the many things going on at once, Aries, I do also feel like this is you bringing that work-life balance into play. Again, retired, this is how you're using your time. And we had a big energy in February and March around reciprocity, right? And asking yourself, is the energy and time I'm putting into this relationship, this project, this travel, goal of mine, this health and fitness goal of mine, is there something coming back for me that is a reward and is reciprocal in that activating that giving and receiving cycle? You were asked to do that. If you found that those things were not happening, this is where you're going to need to get organized with how you communicate. All right, this isn't working. I want to shift things. And this spring card says awakening, projects, and renewal. And so this is your chance to say, okay, I'm going to refresh my energy around this. I'm going to change my approach to this relationship, this project, this goal of mine. And I'm going to find a way to do it where I feel more energized. So that's a key message here for Aries, is anything that feels like it's draining on your energy, it's time to refresh and renew that, or at least clear away some of these busy tasks that are taking away from you. That's why you're being asked to have a team around you who can support you. If you're retired, you're saying, why would I need a team? Well, maybe you're wanting to travel more and it's time to go ahead and find somebody you trust to do house sitting for you, to take care of your animals so that you can feel comfortable traveling, right? So maybe somebody needed to hear that message there, but apply it to where you have your goals in focus and make sure you are really focused on clear communication and communicating your needs in a loving and compassionate way. And I think you're going to be set up for success, celebrating your birthday and feeling comfortable moving into this next birthday year for you. We all have big things that happen in our birthday cycles. I think a lot of people overlook the shifts that we have with our birthday. So you're worth celebrating. I hope you do all season long. All right, we're going to move on to the Tauruses, but Aries, thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you're doing for your birthday. It really helps my channel out. I read every single one of your comments. Thank you so much for being here and listening. Moving on to the Tauruses. What do we have for Taurus for March 2026? Well, first of all, we're going to move into your birthday season at the end of April, the 19th. So happy birthday to all of you. I hope you're planning some fun celebrations as well. You have the Strength card, which I happen to be surrounded by Tauruses, and I know you guys have so many strengths in your wheelhouse, but you have courage, compassion, and I'm waiting for it to focus there for those of you in the video side of this, perseverance. There we go. So, okay. This is coming up really strong right now as a reminder of how strong you really are, Tauruses. You really are strong. And I feel like with the retrograde energy we've had at the beginning of the year moving through March and into April, that there's been some setbacks that have caused you to question your strength. But you are being reminded you are very, very strong. And you don't want to compare yourself to others in a way that holds you back. That was coming through really strong as well. So let's keep going so we can pull all this together for the Tauruses. Your second card is the Awakening card. Wow. It says Archangel Gabriel. Look at things from a different perspective, a temporary standstill. It's important to be yourself. Yeah, this is always that reminder that we want to take that 30,000 foot perspective that our spiritual team has. Our spiritual team is your guardian angels, your passed away loved ones, your ancestors, your higher self. And they can see much further and wider than we can. They also have knowledge we don't have. So we want to remember to pull in their guidance when we're feeling challenged, and we want to try to flip the script. This is my card that I like to call flipping the script. When things are really feeling challenging, hard, questioning your beliefs around that and seeing if you can change them a little bit, or at least have an alternate path you can go down. You know, what's coming up for me is I always think about this. One time we were boarding a plane in Newark, New Jersey to come home, and this was several years back, but there was a little kid kind of crying outside the door. We were waiting to get on. He'd gone down the gangway and we were waiting to get onto the plane. And this little kid in front of me was having a tantrum, did not want to get on the plane. And I remember thinking, like, I wonder if that the kid is feeling an energy. So I called on Archangel Michael to clear the energy of the plane and allow us to only, use it if it was in our highest interest. So we get completely boarded and we move and we get onto the plane. And right before we're about to back up from the terminal, they announced that we have to get off the plane, that the plane has a problem with the emergency door and cannot be flown that day. So the little kid was picking up on that, right? And they said, we don't know if we're going to be able to find another plane. So I immediately panicked because I'm there with my two girls by myself and I'm going, what are we going to do if we can't get home today? And so I went into creative mode and I said, I guess I should be looking at you for this story. I didn't expect to go into this long story, but I thought, well, you know what? We're right here in Newark. Maybe we can take a quick Uber into the city and they'll get to have their first experience spending a night in New York City. We'll find a fun restaurant and we'll make the most of it until we can find a plane home, hopefully the next day or two, but we'll turn it into a little excursion. No sooner had I started looking online at hotels and getting a little bit excited about that idea, did they announce, we found a plane, immediately go to this gate. We have to be boarded within 20 minutes. All these things lined up and we were able to go. But I realized part of it was because I had removed the resistance to there being an alternate plan. And that's what allowed things to move forward. And there are a lot of other synchronicities that happen, but that one always comes to mind for me when I see certain energies like this Awakening card, like I'm seeing for you, Taurus, around what is another way that you could enjoy this little side way road you have to take. Maybe you have a focus, you really want to go from A to B and you're finding out I can't go from A to B. There's about 3 or 4 stops on the way there that I need to take before I can get to B. How can you make that more enjoyable? But we're going to pull in your third card here. I don't know why I needed to tell that story so much, but hopefully that resonated with you. Here we have the Mirror card for your third card, Truth Revealed. So yeah, that when you have these 3 cards below, there's something that hit you in a vulnerable spot recently is what I'm getting. And it did make you feel like, am I on the right path? Do I have the right goals in mind? Did I make the right decisions? It has you second guessing things that you've done, paths that you're on. And then there's been some information that's come in that has this is not the Tower card in tarot, but if you're listening by the way, podcast is available on wherever you get your podcasts, not just YouTube. So maybe you're listening on Spotify or Apple. I'll describe that this card here, this Awakening card, has an angel upside down. So it really is looking at things from a different perspective. I guess it would be considered the Hangman if you're a tarot person, where you're hanging upside down and the world looks very different. because of this information, the world looks very different, right? And if you're feeling some negativity around that, I want you to look in the mirror and ask yourself, how can I make this feel okay? How can I become okay with this in a way where it's still in my highest interest? I'm doing what's healthy for me, and I'm owning the truth of something, right? So this can be a situation where, information is revealed to you about a person, and in a person maybe you care about, maybe you're in a close relationship with, and the truth is kind of painful, but once you look in the mirror, you ask yourself, is this something I can live with? Can I stay in this relationship now that I know this? And only you can know that, right? And this is where you can call in help from your spiritual team, because this could have to do with a health issue. This could have to do with a work issue. So where you're having to ask yourself, am I looking at this from that higher perspective where I can try to find, the fun route, right? Taking the scenic route through this particular challenge or thing that I'm facing. And I think with this mirror card, it really is about facing the reality of something and then doing what you can to nurture yourself through that, because you do have that inner strength. And remember, Tauruses, you need to feel secure. You need to feel comfortable. And so this is a lot about finding ways to bring in that emotional security, that physical security, that financial security. So there may be some truths you have to face. All right, this is not contributing to me feeling strong. I need to do something different so I can go back to feeling strong. All right, so I hope that really resonates with you. I hope you're going to celebrate. Let me know in the comments, what are you doing for your birthday? And I really love it when you let me know what's going on with you. Even if you're just leaving emojis, I read every single comment and it really helps my channel out. So thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing to this video. I appreciate it. Or following if you're on the podcast, wherever you listen to your podcasts. All right, moving on to the Geminis. Geminis for March 2026, your first card is the High Priestess card. Letting the camera focus there. Intuition, wisdom, and patience. Interesting. And you do have these two columns, which kind of look like the Gemini sign there. Very, very interesting. When the sun moves into Taurus, this will be your 12th house of the subconscious or hidden truths, and many other things if you're talking from a solar perspective. And so there is probably some wisdom you need to download in April to help you launch into your birthday season with huge success towards the end of May and early June. But we're going to pull all this together. Your second card is Six of Fire. I love it when you guys get this card. You so deserve it. Victory, good news is on its way. Public recognition or awards. Yes, you deserve recognition, Geminis. I know you've been working so hard behind the scenes. We were even talking about the sun being in your 12th house once it moves into Taurus, things going on behind the scenes. Maybe you've been working extra hard on your spiritual practice and making part of your daily routine to really get that divine guidance, get those divine downloads for your projects, for your relationships, for your goals in life. But let's keep going so we can pull all this together. Your third card is the Dragonfly card. Transformation, magic, and illusion. Oh, I love the Dragonfly card. I have a special affinity for dragonflies. They're such unique characters. And you know what I didn't know about them? A long time ago, I was out in the garden planting my tomatoes and a wasp was buzzing around me. It was making me scared, and I kind of said a little prayer. I was like, oh, don't let that wasp sting me, send me protection. And all of a sudden, a dragonfly drops in between me and the wasp where the wasp had been buzzing, and it sits there in between us. And finally the wasp takes off and doesn't come back. I thought, how interesting. And so I went and looked it up, and dragonflies are one of the number one predators of wasps. Isn't that cool? And so the dragonfly came in and protected me and allowed me to finish planting my garden. So I will always be grateful that, and for other amazing things that dragonflies do. So let's see how this applies to you guys. Well, like I said, right here on this High Priestess card, you have these two columns that very much represent the Gemini symbol. But this is that reminder that if you keep flip-flopping between ideas and thoughts, it's because you're forgetting to ask your higher self. We want to bring the divine wisdom in. We want to follow that divine guidance. We want to stay in divine flow. And sometimes we get wrapped up in overthinking or over talking things because we think that somehow that's going to give us clarity, when really where the clarity is going to come from is getting quiet and tapping into your higher self. So maybe spending a little extra time in meditation, going for quiet walks without your electronics to ponder things, asking for messages in your dreams when your mind doesn't have quite the say that it does during the day, right? The other thing too is we might be processing things through our dreams. So making sure you're writing down any dreams that are coming through for you and seeing if there's any messages there, or if there's a need to ground your energy because of those dreams. But this public recognition card is really exciting. I love this. I feel like there's something that you're recognizing in yourself and you're willing to share about it now. Maybe it's something that you already knew kind of behind the scenes, like you're a good writer, you're a good artist. And now you're realizing, okay, I'm willing to claim that now. I'm willing to say I'm an artist, or I'm an actor, or I'm a director, right? These things that you are doing in a creative way. You do have to let other people know that you do those things. And it's definitely an easy example for me is just how long it took me to start telling people about my YouTube channel and the work I do. I had to really step into my identity as a YouTuber, as an astrologer, as a spiritual teacher before I was really going to be seen by the public. And so it's coming out of that spiritual closet there. And then the dragonfly here is transformation, magic, and illusion. So we're talking about that as well. The transformation is going to happen from you owning your gifts and really sharing them with the world so that they can praise you, right? How can somebody compliment that beautiful painting that you created if you don't show it to anybody? And don't forget that you're bringing healing energy to others when you share your gifts. Whatever your gifts are, you're creating a beautiful high vibration energy when you share it with the world. Even people who do their own artwork that doesn't get seen by a lot of people, like maybe somebody who specializes in birdhouses and things like that. Well, that's a beautiful high vibrational energy you're creating for the environment, for the birds. And you may be the only one who sees it in your backyard, but it is raising the vibration of the entire planet because that loving creative energy is there. The other message that's coming through for the Geminis is just to remember that this is co-creation that we are in right now. We are all co-creating with divine energy. So you are not meant to do this all alone. And if you are feeling like flip-flopping between actions to take or decisions to make or things to bring into your life, don't forget to call on your higher self. Ask your spiritual team for loud and clear signs. Ask for co-creation. Ask for that opportunity. And then you're going to see all this magical transformation coming in. And I do really, really want to remind you to please write down your dreams. All right, Gemini, so let me know what's coming through for you. Let me know what decisions you're working on, or just leave me some emojis. I read every single one of your comments. Thank you guys so much for liking, sharing, subscribing, or following. If you're listening on one of the podcast platforms, this show is available on wherever you get your podcasts. I should have said that up front. Oh well, I'll try to remember next time. But thank you, Geminis, for being here. Really appreciate it. And we will now move on to the Cancers. All right, Cancer, what do we have for your April 2026? We have 4 of Water, distraction, self-absorption, and discontentment. This is your sign, the water sign. You're a water sign, Cancers. And this card is always that reminder to go higher with your focus. Okay. This person, if you're listening on the podcast platforms, this person is staring down at the 3 cups in front of them, and they're not happy with what's in the cup. But they're so focused on what the things that are in those cups are not in. Maybe there's nothing in those cups. Who knows? that they're not seeing this much more beautiful cup behind them. And where is that cup? It's up in their crown chakra. It's coming from divine wisdom and flow. So we need to get out of feeling sorry for ourselves, being distracted by things, and being self-absorbed over something that didn't go our way. So a really easy example would be, somebody who said something to you in a tactless way. It hurt your feelings. They did you wrong. And you just keep replaying that moment over and over in your mind. That's going to prevent you from these better opportunities coming through. But we're going to pull all this together. So let's see what your second card is here. For your second card, you have the Seven of Water. Wow, another water energy. A complex decision, the need to do more research. Stop procrastinating. Yeah, these two cards together, I'm saying with your water sign, now you have Jupiter direct in your sign. I really want to just encourage you that we've got to move on from these things in our past that didn't turn out the way we wanted. If you're feeling bored, that's an invitation to do something different. So let's get your third card and we'll pull this all together. Passed away loved ones. Let it focus here. Comfort, forgiveness, and support. I actually love this card coming through for the Cancers because if you have a passed away loved one that would want to offer you love and support, or maybe has been through something similar you're going through, you can revisit them, connect with them through your dreams, through journaling. You can ask them to guide you, and this can help you move out of that energy. I am getting for a lot of Cancers, there is a need to forgive somebody who has passed away, something that didn't quite get resolved, or again, that somebody who didn't do right by you, somebody who didn't support you when you needed them to. Working on ways to forgive that is going to be very healing for you, and it's going to help you see where there's more opportunities for you going forward. This could also be somebody from your past, but I feel like Cancers are going to want to consider doing some ancestral work this year while Jupiter still remains in your sign. And that could mean revisiting family patterns and seeing where possibly you're experiencing a similar family pattern. And maybe you're the one here to break that pattern. And how do you do that? You make a different choice, right? This Seven of Water card here is saying you have other choices. You don't have to follow in the footsteps of your ancestors and be in that same space when you, are at the age where you're moving on into a new phase of your life, whether it's moving on from living with your parents to living on your own, moving from having kids in your house to them going off to college, or moving into a retirement phase. You don't have to do it the way your parents, your grandparents, and your ancestors did. You have other options. And I do think sometimes we forget that. The other thing I'm hearing for some Cancers is, do you have a quirky, relative, maybe that's passed away, grandparent, aunt, uncle, great aunt, uncle, whatever, that they did things differently. They didn't do things the way the rest of the family did, and they were kind of the black sheep for it. Could you learn more about them? Could you, figure out what it was like for them, and then see, okay, maybe I will try something different, different than the way they did it. And I think that, that's the key message here for Cancers, is you're thinking you don't have choices. And the truth is you have so many choices. You're, as my friend Chris Reck says from Menopause Tarot, you are spoiled for choices. Which, by the way, I should have said also at the front of the video, Chris Reck will be back on my channel very soon. We're going to be talking, I think the topic we're going to do is the next 3 months, April, May, June. But definitely make sure you're subscribed so that you will get notified when we go live and do that topic there. I think we're going to do it as a live. That's what we did last month. Last month we did the Mercury retrograde. I had some really interesting energies come through. So we'll be talking about that. And I love that Chris Reck always says, Seven of Cups is spoiled for choices. And so you're sitting here thinking, I have no choice. The three in front of me just won't do. But you do have a lot of choices, but you might need to just review things from your past. You might need to forgive somebody from your past. Excuse me. I think that some of you, it's an ex. So if that's the person that pops to your mind, I would really encourage you. I always love the reminder that when you forgive somebody, you're not doing it for them. You're doing it for yourself so that you don't find yourself in a place of dis-ease, right? Disease, where we're manifesting things physically because we aren't letting something go. So I am hearing that very strongly. But for those of you that the ancestors resonated, this is going to be a powerful month for that. And I'm definitely feeling it. I'm a Cancer sun sign, so I am definitely feeling a need for connection. My grandmother on my mom's side has been a huge component of me moving away from my small business consulting practice and going full-time into intuitive work. She passed away in 2010, but she came to me in a dream in 2016 and said, get to work. And she still works with me. So I'm definitely feeling a need to connect with her more. And I believe, I want to say it was like late April, early May that in 2016 that dream happened and things really clicked into gear for me for sure. So think about that if that resonates with you, or just really focus on the things where you feel stuck, like you don't have a choice, because the truth is you have way more choices than you think. So you may have to go ahead and just take that leap of faith and try something out. And if it doesn't work, try something else. All right, Cancers, let me know what you're trying. Let me know if you're connecting with your ancestors. Let me know what you're doing, or just leave me some emojis. I read every single one of your comments. Thank you so much for liking, sharing, following, subscribing. I really appreciate it. All right, moving on to Leos. Hello, lovely Leos. So for April 2026, your first card is the King of Water. Compassionate, understanding, trustworthy. Yes, I do feel that, this is an energy reminding you that you can master your emotions around a particular issue if you really focus on the things that are making you feel like it's for you. But I'm going to go get some more clarity here before we keep going with these messages. We have your second card, which is the Unity card, Archangel Sandalphon, traditional viewpoints or methods, spiritual transformation, and seek out mentors and like-minded friends. So I think that you're feeling like you're really wanting to be in a space where you have such composure when it comes to your emotions, and you feel safe really being deep with others around you. That's coming through really clearly, that you feel very safe being emotionally vulnerable with those around you. So let's keep going. Let's get your third card, and then we're going to pull all this together. There we go. Fire Opal, sensuality and confidence. Sensuality and confidence. Okay, so here's what I'm saying, pulling this all together, very, very clear message. Have you made the steps necessary to put yourself in environments where you feel supported, where you feel loved, where you feel safe being emotionally vulnerable? So I mentioned this at the beginning of the video. Hopefully you're listening to all 12 signs, because they do all have messages for you in all 12 areas of your chart. But there is a message around, what did you realize during February and March that you were putting a lot of heart and soul into, and others were not responding the way that you hoped they would? And this was a message we had for the rest of March messages too, I believe it was, for Leos, around reminding you that your audience is most likely not your family and your friends. Now, there's always the exception to the rule. My mom's my number one fan, that kind of a thing. Or, oh, my best friend is the one that encouraged me to do this, whatever. Of course, there's those exceptions to the rules. But when Leo needs to really share their big heart, they need to feel safe doing it. And this is just for all 12 signs. It usually is not the people in your immediate environment. It usually takes you getting out there in a bigger way. So with this Unity card, you're being invited to at least begin the steps, if you haven't already, of finding your tribe, finding the location where you feel safe sharing your work. This could be an online community. This could be going down to the local theater club and being a part of an acting group there where everybody has the same goals and focus. This could be, seeking a support group that's been through similar things that you've been through so that you can work on those emotions and work on ways to use your deep emotions in a creative way. With this sensitivity card and this confidence card, I just feel like if you are in a space where you want to share something from your heart and you're not sure how people are going to respond, ask yourself, well, where would I feel safe sharing this, right? This talks about traditional viewpoints in this middle card. And I know that for a lot of people, it's been kind of a breaking away from maybe the way they were raised when it comes to religion or spirituality. Maybe you were raised in one type of religion and you're realizing it doesn't resonate with you and you're moving to a different church or a different practice. So remember how sensitive you are too. I mean, I love my Leos. Like I've said this in the past, I feel like you guys get a bad rap because people don't realize how much of your heart you give away all the time, how much heart you put into things, and you wear your heart on your sleeve. Even if you try to hide it, it's there for people to, not be so careful with, right? They can hurt you a lot more easily than they realize. And I know it's like, one of those things where it just goes straight to the heart because you do put your heart on the line with relationships, with work, with creative projects. So just remembering to protect that, I think, is going to be really key. And it really is about mastering your emotions around things and maybe even doing exercises to protect your heart when you are in a vulnerable situation. Like, let's say you are going to go to a local art show and get a booth and put your art on display. Yeah. What are you going to do if you invite your friends and family and only a couple show up? Are you going to take that as a personal thing? Or are you telling yourself up front that my audience will find me and the people who are meant to see my artwork will see it? And that, I tell you, will be the better way to protect your energy and might even attract even more of your family and friends anyways, because there's not that string attached, that energetic cord attached to, aren't you going to come? Aren't you going to be there for me? So I'm not saying that's what you're doing at all, but I do want you to ask yourself if maybe you are expecting others to show up in a way that they're just not capable of, and maybe they're not realizing how sensitive and talented you are. So you have a right to protect your energy, and you have a right to remove yourself from those conversations and situations that make you feel vulnerable and unseen. You deserve to be seen, Leos. All right, let me know in the comments, what are you going to be doing to protect your energy, to join your groups, or just leave me some emojis. I read every single one of your comments. I really appreciate it. And also thank you for liking, sharing, following, subscribing, all of the above. I really appreciate it. All right, moving on to Virgos. Hello, Virgos. For April 2026, your first card is Wise Counselor. Wise Counselor, belonging, learning, and tradition. Beautiful energy there for the Virgos. Well, you always get this energy. I always feel like, people don't really realize how much wisdom you have to share with the world, but you definitely do. Your second card is the Release card. Archangel Azrael, the end of a phase or situation, time to move on. You get this card a lot, Virgos. You get a lot of cards around moving on, releasing things, the end of an era, the end of a phase. And of course, we can't forget those eclipses you had in your sign in 2025 and 2026. It did bring a lot of endings. It did bring a lot of sudden changes. But it is adding to your wisdom, and it is allowing you to step into that. Now let's get your third card, and then we'll pull this all together for you. Your third card is the Red card, Passion, Survival. This would also be related to the root chakra, the first chakra. And so, it is a fight or flight card. Like I said, passion or survival. And we're leaning into the passion here, Virgos. That's what we're being asked to do. So, pulling all this together for the Virgos, I really feel like you have been holding back your wisdom from the world, not intentionally, but because you've been going through so much. You've been through so much transformation. This energy has been so jarring, not just to you, but those around you. Things that have been forced to an end or forced to a close have been quite a shift in your reality. And then also just things that you chose to end, gradually kind of realizing, wow, I saw that I needed to move away from that relationship, that job, that situation. And I am so glad I did. I didn't realize that it was going to be such a benefit to move on from that at the time, but now I see it. So I think a lot of you are looking back to 2017, 2018 era, and then again, 24, 25 area and going, wow, big shifts, big changes. Some of those felt really unfair. Some of those felt really unclear why it needed to end, but now I see it. And while I might have had to go into survival mode for a while, that's why I'm seeing with this root chakra card here, there might have been, a period of time where you felt like you were just trying to get out of bed every day, or you were just trying to get to the end of the week every day, or whatever that was. You stuck with it. That's ending, and things are going to ease into a more flowing reality for you. But the key is going to be focusing on your passions. So what gets you excited to get out of bed in the morning? What gets you excited to put yourself to bed early so that you have a healthy night's sleep and you feel energetic in the morning? What are the things that you could do all day long because you love them so much? You have such a passion for it. And don't forget that you have wisdom to share with the world, and others need you. We need you, Virgos. We need you to share your passions with us. We are looking to you for your guidance and your knowledge, especially after the transformation you've gone through. So if you're not putting enough time into your creativity and into your passions, April's the month to get started. We had the spring equinox on March 20th, which is technically the new year astrologically because it's the first sign of the zodiac. So it is that time of new starts. And, I've talked about this a lot. We're also in a 1 year in numerology, starting a new 9-year cycle. We're in the year of the fire horse, which is that passionate root chakra energy there. So use this energy to really get out of your shell and really get out there, share your passion and share your wisdom, Virgos. Let me know what you're working on, or leave me some emojis in the comments. I love them. I read every single one. It really helps my channel out. And of course, thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing, following if you're listening on one of the podcast platforms. I really appreciate it. All right, Libras. Hey, Libras, for April 2026, your first card is 9 of Fire. That's pretty interesting. Protection, preparedness, resilience. Okay, you guys have been working hard on some things. You've got to protect how far you've come. That's what I'm feeling right now. We will have a full moon in your sign in April. Let me check. Oh, it's actually April 1st. So yeah, this is your full moon. I really encourage you to focus on completing the projects you've been working on, or at least finishing one phase of that, because that's going to be really great for this full moon in your sign on the 1st. The second card is the 6 of Earth. You've gotten a lot of cards around balance lately. Gifts of money, time or effort, new career opportunities, receiving a loan or paying off debt. And that's even your symbol right there. That's your card, that Libra symbol with the scales and balances, just reminding you that, you want to check in with your health and fitness, your career and finance. If you're retired, that would be your legacy. And of course, your relationships, not just romantic. Is there a balance there, or does there need to be more balance? Do you need to protect something to bring balance in? And we're going to pull this all together, but let me get your third card here. We have the Angels card. Oh, of course, I love this card. Angels, support, and guidance. Yes, love that for you guys. So pulling it all together here, what I'm seeing is there may be a need to balance your workload because your relationships or your health and fitness are suffering. Maybe you need to put a little more attention into your creative projects because you've been too absorbed in a relationship or too absorbed in dealing with a health issue. Of course, health is a priority. It should always be a priority. I mean, this is not, any kind of medical advice. I'm not a healthcare professional, but it is important to keep our health as a priority so we have energy for other things. So have you been putting too much attention into something that is taking away from other areas of your life? This is a card of protecting what you've created. And you can see that happen. I probably could have said this at the beginning of the video, but all of us are going to be facing some energies in April that can lead to indulgence, right? Indulging in an emotion, indulging in overeating or consuming something, indulging in something that is not going to be long-term, sustainable long-term, right? And now we need to bring balance. So the easy example coming to my mind is when somebody starts a new romantic relationship and they just want to spend all their time together. They want to stay up on the phone all night talking, so they're not getting enough sleep. They cancel all their, plans with their friends because they just want to be with each other. They're leaving work early or getting to work late because they just want to be together, right? That's okay. That's fun. It's the honeymoon phase, whatever, but just watch for what might be out of balance and don't allow something else to go by the wayside that later on down the road, you're going to be upset. Like, oh, I let my creative project go. I stopped painting because I was spending all my time with my partner. Now, that's just an example. You can use this for any area of your life, but this card about balance here is saying there is something that needs your attention because it's getting out of balance with everything that you've been focused on. Now, this support and guidance card here, the angels, is just also a reminder that you can ask for divine support to get things done. It's the easy example I always say that if I have a really heavy to-do list and I'm feeling stressed about it, I always remember to ask my spiritual team in the morning when I'm doing my journal, angels, please help me to be in divine flow, allow these things to get done in a way that's in my highest interest. And more often than not, something will fall off my to-do list because somebody else will offer to do it, or I'll learn something that will make me realize, oh, it's not the time to do that. Or I will just be in such a flow that I hit all the green lights, I find all the best parking spots, and I'm in and out in a flash with whatever it is that I have to do. So remember, you do have that support here to bring whatever is out of balance back into balance. You're not meant to do it alone. And this 9 of Fire card, there's an angel behind this person. It's again that card of protection. So you can ask for your angels for help with protecting something as well. I like to use the reminder that if I wake up in the middle of the night and the energy feels off, I immediately ask Archangel Michael to clear the energy in my house and surround and protect my family and me and my home. And I always feel a sudden sense of grounding there just by saying that affirmation, I am safe. My family and I are safe. So remember that anything you're doing, you can bring in those affirmations. You can bring in that angelic support. So I hope you'll do that. And I hope you'll comment below with what are the things that you're really focused on? What are you working on? What are some things that you're going to maybe activate that giving and receiving cycle, or just leave me some emojis. I read every single one of your comments. Thank you so much for liking, sharing, and subscribing. All righty. And moving on to I should clear away the cards first. Scorpios. All right, Scorpios, for the month of April, let's see what your first card is here. Your first card is the Star card. The Star card, inspiration, fulfillment, and faith. That's exciting. That's really exciting. I love that, Scorpios. Let's see what your second card is. You have the Ace of Water, something new and exciting. I like that. Falling in love, the resurgence of a relationship, spiritual growth, and enhanced intuition, a new home. All right. Are you moving into a new home, Scorpios? Jupiter is trining you guys with Jupiter in Cancer, trining you as a water sign. Let's see what else we have here. 4 of Air. Take time to rest. Take a vacation. Allow more time before making a decision. And let's see, meditation provides answers. All right, so pulling all of this together here, I'm feeling that a lot of Scorpios are wanting to be seen in a way that they don't feel seen. Now, maybe it's by your spouse. Maybe it's by a group of people that you work with, a boss. Maybe it's within your family, or it's some kind of creative project, some kind of business you're trying to really move along and be seen as an expert in that area. And it's caused you to feel a little, the feeling I'm getting is just lackluster. Like you haven't given up on it, but you're kind of questioning, like, when is this going to get easier? Now, I have this Ace of Water card here too. So I feel like some of you are wanting a new relationship. Maybe you've ended a relationship and you're looking for a new romantic partner. Maybe you're realizing, a business partner wasn't working out or a project wasn't working out, and you need something new to work on that makes you feel inspired. I do think for some of you, it just feels like a little bit of that you feel you're at a dead end. You're not at a dead end. But it feels like this is, I've run out of energy for this thing, for this relationship, for this whatever goal that you have. If it is maybe around moving, you're like, where would I even move? Like, you're not even sure how to begin that search for the right place. But this card 4 of air is that reminder that, sometimes you just need to walk away from the thing that's causing you to doubt yourself and go do something different for a little while, right? That's why vacations bring a healthy new perspective in. Just taking a break from a project, putting it on the back burner for a little while, possibly even if it is having to do with a romantic relationship, maybe just taking yourself on a little solo sabbatical to have some time on your own to do some reflection. If you are just recently out of a relationship, this is that reminder to take all the time you need to reflect on that relationship and understand why it wasn't a match, why things needed to end. If it was a surprise, asking yourself about things like the beginning of the relationship, was I really seeing the truth of the situation? If it was something that just had to happen because, it wasn't a surprise, you knew it was coming, but it was kind of painful. Just remembering, hey, take a break from all that energy. Be compassionate with yourself. If, like I said, you had to be the one to end the relationship because you just knew it wasn't going to go, but you're kicking yourself for waiting so long. These are things where it's like, give yourself a break. You were doing the best you could. That's what I like to remind all 12 signs. When you're looking back on things and you're reflecting on them and you're still feeling a little pain, like you're feeling a little humiliated or you're feeling a little sad, just reminding yourself it's okay. You were doing the best you could. You learned from it. What did you learn from it? And maybe even daydreaming about how you would do things differently if this were to be something you faced down the road again. What I am really seeing as an encouraging message for you guys is that you still are on this path to being the star. And you are on the path to this new relationship, this new project, this new job, this new community, this new recognition for your work that you're desiring. You are headed there, but we might need to take a new emotional approach to these things. And sometimes that comes from this vacation or this break from a project or break from a relationship. Sometimes absence makes the heart grow fonder, right? Taking a little break from that situation. I did have a trip this summer. I don't remember if it was your sign or another sign. I mentioned this. I had a trip this past summer where we go back to the East Coast and I visit friends and family. And I remember thinking that I had gotten into a really nice pace on that vacation. We were there long enough that I had a daily routine to my walk, to my meals, to everything with the family. And it was a nice pace. It wasn't boring. I wasn't just sitting around, but it also wasn't like, go, 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 got to get these things done. And I remember thinking, how can I bring this pace home with me so that I don't feel like I'm rushing all the time? And I needed that perspective, and for me, it was just that reminder. I'm a Capricorn rising here, that I put too much on my to-do list every day. I really do. So I was focusing on ways to shift my schedule and give myself different timelines and deadlines. And then when things that were out of my control came in that I had to deal with, I didn't feel so much pressure on the other things. So that might be something there as well, is that you're just putting too much pressure on yourself, Scorpios, because it feels like there is a new approach that's going to bring you more emotional security. And part of it, maybe you've just been pushing too hard. All right. So let me know what you're working on. Let me know what that is for you. I read every single one of your comments, even your emojis. I love them all. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing, following if you're listening on one of the podcast platforms. And thank you guys so much, by the way. All right, Sagittarius for April 2026. Your first card is the Queen of Air. I love this for you guys. Brilliant, experienced, humorous. Yes, a lot of you Sages are going to finally be sharing your wisdom with the world in a bigger way. A lot of you have already been doing it, but not on the scale that you could. And you might be thinking, well, that's not me. I don't have a podcast. I'm not trying to be on stage. This could be sharing it with grandkids or neighbors or a community. Okay, so let's keep going. We'll get some clarification here. Your second card is the Moon card, Archangel Haniel. Important insights, events behind the scenes, releasing fears that are holding you back. Yeah, I do feel like part of this Queen of Air energy is pushing you through this Moon card energy. It's kind of pushing you into the deep end of the pool, so to speak, right? But let's see what else is coming up and then we'll pull it all together. Your third card is the Summer card. Taking action, fruition, intellect. Of course, you smart Sages out there. We love your wit. We love your charisma and the energy you bring into a room. So yeah, I feel like one of the very big messages around April is please try to get your wisdom out there in a bigger way. You are the queen or king, doesn't matter. When it comes to communicating this wisdom, people want to hear what you have to say about it. And so please give your gift to the world. Share your gift and your knowledge and your wisdom to the world. This Moon card is really around something that's happened in the past where you tried to share your wisdom with the world and it didn't quite go the way you wanted. Maybe it even caused you some harm. It caused you some, just feeling really taken advantage of. And this Summer card is saying, look, it's time to just move past that energy. And that's what it feels like, especially showing it with this card first, the Moon in the middle, and then the Summer card. It's like you're getting into the water with this Moon card. You don't really know how deep it is. You don't really know how strong the current is, but you're just going to, if you're listening on the podcast platforms, this Summer card has a woman with a surfboard coming out of the surf, and they're very determined, and I feel like you're going to be so determined with this new thing you're doing in April that this Moon card about the illusions and what's going to happen, you're just going to get right through it. You're just going to literally surf right through it. Okay. Pun intended. I feel like you're going to just, whatever this thing is that's been holding you back, you're going to say, why did I wait so long? I'm in it now. Let's just surf the energy. I feel like a lot of Sages, you don't give yourselves credit for how good you are at surfing the energy. Sometimes you do get a little bit caught up in your mind and your thoughts around something because you have so much wisdom. You have such an ability to see the deeper meanings in things, and you're able to see the synchronicities and the higher perspective. And sometimes that can get you a little trapped in illusion because you can see all those things. But I feel like what this really is you're just surfing the energy like a pro. And a lot of this is because your wisdom needs to be put out there in the world in a bigger way. And once you're in it, you're like, why did I wait so long? It's going to feel so good. It's going to feel like school's out for summer. Now I'm doing the thing I love to do. So I can't say anything else beyond, I hope you guys are doing something fun, exciting, and new where you get to communicate your vision, your wisdom, whatever that is for you in April. And if anything that's holding you back, these messages are saying, don't worry, you're going to sail right through. It's going to really be a supportive energy, which actually makes sense with all the planets that are in Aries trining your sign of Sagittarius, because it's another fire sign. It's trining you, which is a positive energy. It is a flowing energy. Like I said, surfing the energy. So I think this is going to be a really positive thing for you. So don't hold back when it comes to getting started with these new things you want to do, to share your gifts, share your wisdom. And the world is waiting for you, Sagittarius. So let me know in the comments, what are you starting or what are you continuing in a bigger way? I read every single one of your comments, love your emojis, and I just love hearing what's going on with all of you. So thank you guys so much for liking, sharing, and subscribing or following if you're listening on the podcast platforms. All right. I always forget to move the cards before I switch signs. Sorry, Cappies. All right, Capricorn. Capricorn, for your first card for April 2026, you have, you're going to love this card, the Knight of Earth. Organized, responsible, and supportive. You're like, yup, I'm all about that. This is an Earth energy, which you're an Earth sign. You guys like being responsible. You like being organized. So you're coming into this month feeling really focused. I feel like you did a lot of work in March to get organized so that you could start April in a really strong place when it comes to your resources. And you're really, really focused on how you can continue to grow your resources. Now, we're not just talking about money, although money is energy, but you're really focused on how much energy you're putting into things, and you're being really responsible about that. You're not overgiving, you're not overspending. Not that that's something that you would normally do anyways, Capricorns, but you are just so good at distributing your energy, if that makes sense, that you're just streamlining it is what it feels like. And a lot of the work you did in January, February, March, you're going to see the benefits of that moving into April because you're going to feel really strong and supported. Now, your second card, Capricorns, is the Dreamer card. I like this. The Dreamer, which would be the full card in the tarot decks. A leap of faith, follow your dreams, unexpected opportunities. So yeah, you're doing something new, something brand new in April. And the reason you're able to take that leap of faith is because you're coming into the month organized and strong and in a leadership position with your resources. You're in charge, right? And you're good at that. It's natural for you. But this Dreamer card is reminding you that some of this energy is going to require that leap of faith. You're not going to have a map for this. You're not going to know where it's taking you. But it's going to be a really exciting journey. So let's get your third card so we can pull this all together. There we go. Stars. We have the stairs card. If you're listening on the podcast platforms, there's beautiful stairs leading up to a door that is closed. It says direction and timing. And also on this card, there's really no other direction but up. You must go up with this staircase, it seems like, at least to get into the door. I guess you could be coming out of the door and coming down, but that's not the energy I'm feeling here. I'm feeling like you're starting this journey and it's taking you to a higher level with something, Capricorn. So let's pull all this together. This is a really exciting energy for wherever you have Capricorn in your chart. Remember, you do have all 12 signs. So look to see where you have Capricorn in your chart, and this energy will apply to whatever house it is in. Now, I feel like what this main message here, though, is that reminder that ever since Pluto left Capricorn and moved into Aquarius, Capricorns, you've been asked to go in a new direction with the way you use your intuition. Now, you used your intuition in the past, but you did it in a very methodical way. Now you're being asked to do a lot more leaps of faith, as we're saying with this card of, I don't know how I know, but I know, so we're just going to try it, right? You're allowing yourself to be guided by that instinctive pull there. And the stair card is again saying, this direction you're heading in is taking everything in your life to a new level. Your relationships, your health and fitness, your career and finance. If you're retired, the legacy you're leaving behind, everything is now going to a new level. It's going to be busy. It's going to be a lot of pressure. With a lot of the planets in Aries, this energy is actually squaring whatever you have in Capricorn, sun, moon, rising planets there. So it can create pressure, right? Saturn is your ruling planet. Saturn is in Aries. So yeah, there's going to be some pressure there, but you guys will do fine under pressure. Just don't forget to let your intuition guide you. I think that's going to be the key. Is it could be that when you're under pressure, you're going to want to go with the tried and true path. And this stairs card is saying, nope, you've got to take the innovative path. You've got to go higher with your knowledge, with your goals, with the energy you're putting into things, because this is going to be different than anything you've ever done before. And we've all had that energy. All of us, all 12 signs are going into a space we've never been before. And when Uranus hits Gemini again on April 25th, it's like there's no turning back. So you might as well march up those stairs and get excited about what's behind that door, Capricorn. So let me know what direction you're heading in. Let me know what you're working on. Have you been able to use your intuition on a deeper level? Or just leave me some emojis. I read every single one of your comments. I love hearing what's going on with you guys. And of course, thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing, or hitting follow if you're listening on the podcast platforms. Thanks so much, Caps. Or Cappies. Okay, Aquarius. Hello, Aquas. What do we have for April 2026 for you guys? Ooh, I like this. Your first card is 3 of Fire. Goals, expansion, and vision. I believe this is the card that my buddy Chris Reck from Minnow Pond Tarot says teamwork makes it dream work. This is a card of teamwork, exciting creative projects, remembering that we're in a co-creative world, so we are meant to co-create with the divine and with others. Let's see what your second card is. I like that card for you guys, though, because your energy has been intense. The energy for you guys. All right, there we go. The wheel card. The wheel card, Archangel Michael. A time of positive change, a situation suddenly moves forward. Fortune is on your side. Yeah, you guys have been moving in a new direction for a while now, but it hasn't flowed for you guys. It's been a little bit choppy. And so I feel like you're going to be working with others in April, and it's going to finally feel like, okay, now there's some momentum in the direction I've been moving, right? And anything that's been feeling, kind of underwater with all that Pisces energy we had, you're like, okay, finally I can come up for air, right? That's what I feel like I'm getting. Let's get your third card and see what it says. Oh, there we go. I love this. Selenite, right? That's a crystal. Spiritual activation and stimulation. I think that you are really detoxing your environment. You're detoxing your social media, your friend groups. Like you're like, I'm headed into a direction where the energy feels good and it's allowing me to go to new levels with my purpose. So let's pull all this together. Like I said, with this 3 of Fire card here, I do see you doing some collaborations in the month of April. Maybe you're working with a group of friends on a project. Maybe you are, you're starting some kind of new group and you're inviting others to join. There is even this card, this energy around maybe doing some brainstorming. The word was like leaving my brain there for a moment, but have you ever gotten together with a group of people and just written everything on a wall, like a big whiteboard, ideas on things, getting excited? But, also this is a card of just sharing your passion with others. And, I do feel like a lot of Aquas are not spending enough time with others who are like-minded and who share their passions. And I understand that because you guys are so wise and you have so much knowledge and you're just like, let me just do the things I need to do and move on. But I think there's a need for you to do a lot more group work in the month of April. Now, of course, you are that energy of the collective. You are that energy of groups and the collective and the innovating society, and you are here to help us all, right? But I also feel like you've kind of been a lone wolf in certain areas of your life, and it's time to kind of share the spotlight in a way that supports your goals, if that makes sense. Let's keep going though. With this wheel card, like I said, you have been moving in a new direction for a while now, but it is, like I said, I think all of us were feeling all that Pisces energy a little bit like trying to hear somebody's conversation underwater, right? You're underwater, they're up on the edge of the pool trying to talk to you and you can't quite hear what they're saying. And you're like, I just want to come up for air, have this conversation and move on. Even if it's a conversation you haven't really wanted to have, it's going to be a relief to just air it out, have that conversation. And I think a lot of you are going to be focused on, I'm not having those conversations anymore. I'm not going to put myself in that situation anymore where I feel yucky when I come home or I feel drained. Those situations, those social environments where you come away and your mind is just wired thinking, what did that person mean by that? Or did they take what I said the wrong way? Or why am I so tired? Or even the energies that, you come away from something and you feel fine, but then you catch yourself the next day or in the middle of the night thinking about it and it gets you wound up again. So there is this need to really clear your communication in April. Focus on the projects and the team efforts that allow you to feel really solid in your communication and the people you're around, where you feel like the energy is clear, right? And I don't want to harp on the whole idea of low vibration versus high vibration or whatever. It's just vibration, right? But what vibration feels good to you? If there's a vibration of a conversation or a social media post or a friendship that is not working with you, this is your opportunity to use this wheel energy to move on from that. All right. So I see a lot of clearing and cleansing for you guys, and you'll have to let me know what you're working on. Are you doing any team projects? Are you doing any community things? You guys are always working on something fun and exciting. I read every single one of your comments, even your emojis. I love them. So thank you guys so much for doing that. It really helps my channel out. And of course, thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing, or following if you're listening on the podcast platforms. And our lovely Pisces. Pisces, what do we have for you guys before we get to our bonus messages? It was 1 hour and 11 minutes, right when I clicked on your sign. Another 1:11. I love it. Pisces, for April 2026, your first card is the Release card. Endings, transformation, and freedom. Well, I certainly hope you had an amazing birthday season. And I feel like a lot of you were realizing some things that had to go that you don't want to take into this next year. I think a lot of you are seeking freedom from things. And that's why you're saying this has to go because it's holding me back. But let's keep going. Your second card, Pisces, is the Two of Earth. It says too much going on at once. It says the need to make a decision, consider a more playful approach. Yeah, that makes sense. You guys are wanting to feel more free. You're needing to bring some balance into where you're putting your energy. You know this, but you're trying to figure out where to put your energy, where it will allow you to be more free, right? Does that make sense? It's a little bit of a, you're on the fence. You're like, where do I put my energy? Where do I put my focus? But don't worry. We're going to get you some clarity here. Problem solving. I was just saying that, you're trying to figure this out. And the card says resolution on it. Now, if you're listening on one of the podcast platforms, this card has a person where in their hair is a bunch of little puzzle pieces. And I don't know if you've ever spent time doing a jigsaw puzzle. I enjoy doing it when I have the time, when I don't feel under pressure to do a lot of things like on vacations or during the holidays or things like that. But we always have a jigsaw puzzle going in the house, whether I have time to stop by it or not. I sometimes get some really great ideas or solutions to issues when I'm doing the puzzle, because you're giving your mind and your physical body something to do, and that intuitive download comes in. And remember, Pisces, you guys are very, very naturally intuitive. A lot of people don't give you credit for that. Maybe you're not even giving yourself credit for that. But maybe the reason you haven't been able to find this solution is you're not doing things that take your mind and your body away from the issue so that intuitive message could come through. A lot of times these things come through doing something that you enjoy, doing something for fun, doing something that's playful. If it's something that takes too much focus, then that's not going to be that helpful either. Like if it's something that really requires, even if you love it, it really requires that focus, that might not be the thing that's going to help you find the solution. I do feel like this is your chance to get off the fence when it comes to a purchase or ending some kind of financial commitment. That's another thing I'm seeing with the Two of Earth card is you've been on the fence on whether to invest in something, or you've been on the fence on whether something is worth your time and effort and money, and you're not quite sure what to do. I'll remind you of the visualization process I talk about a lot in my Inner Circle community, my online community, which everybody's welcome to join, is you visualize, let's say you have two options in front of you. You visualize yourself picking one of those options, and then 6 months from now, what are you wearing? What are you doing? And who's around you? Then you go back to the drawing board and you take the other option and you picture that. If you take that option 6 months from now, what are you wearing? What are you doing? Who's around you? Just let your mind wander. I know you guys are amazing at daydreaming. So I am too. Not calling anybody out. Another fellow water sign here. We love our daydreaming. And our nighttime dreaming. Maybe even some of the information will come through your dreams. So I hope you're keeping your journal by your bedside. But allow yourself to just daydream about those things. Sometimes something will pop in totally unexpected that you hadn't even considered, or it's something that you thought you would never consider. But then when you daydream about it, you get some more intuitive information that goes, well, maybe I should look into that. Maybe I should get some advice on that. Maybe I should research that. So you're going to be spending some time you're going to invest some time and energy, maybe some money into this problem solving in April. And so whatever this thing is that you realized, this is making me feel trapped, this needs to go, then you'll get more clarity if you just start focusing on where to put that energy and that focus. So like I said, it could be for some of you, you're ending some spending on something, some investing in something to go move those resources and time to something else. And I like to remind you, your energy counts as that because time is money, right? Or money is energy. So where are you doing that? And I want you to try to use April to really do the problem solving that you need to do to find that freedom. That's what it really is. There's just some extra problem solving that needs to happen. And with the sun moving into your second house of Aries, I would definitely say it's around something with self-worth, where you spend your money, that kind of thing. All right, Pisces, let me know in the comments, what decision are you making? What kind of problems are you solving? Do you like doing puzzles? Or just leave me some emojis. I read every single comment. I really love it. It helps my channel out so much. And of course, thank you so much for liking, sharing, and subscribing, or hitting follow and leaving me a review if you're listening on one of those podcast platforms out there, wherever you get your podcasts. Oh, I should actually, we're gonna do your bonus messages now. But that does remind me, please make sure to check out my freebies below. I have a bunch of freebies on my website at devondoer.com, linked below. Sometimes I change up what I put in the comment section, or if you're listening to the podcast, the notes section on the podcast. But there's always freebies there, resources and tools for you. You're also invited to check out my online community called the Inner Circle for like-minded people like you, where I do private messages and bonus messages in several shows. I have a lot of resources and classes and things that we talk about inside that community. If you want to check that out for 30 days for free at devondoer.com as well. And like I said, this show, Your Inner Circle, Your Inner Circle is it's available on wherever you get your podcasts. So maybe you enjoy listening on YouTube or YouTube Music, or you can check it out, Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, and Google. Alrighty, thank you guys for that. And again, thank you for liking and sharing and subscribing and leaving me comments. Let me know what's going on with you. I do read all of your comments. And let's check in with your bonus messages. All right, for the present energy, you have the King of Earth. So these messages are meant to clarify anything that really resonated with you in the 12 signs and bring you even more detail. So you have the King of Earth, prosperous, generous, and resourceful. I really like that, especially with the sun and some other planets moving into Taurus towards the end of April. All right. And then the present energy. That was the present energy moving into April. The near future energy is the 9 of Earth. So this is contentment, luxury, and independence. I do feel like we're seeking that security, seeking that peaceful, calming energy in April. And then your future card is the 7 of Water. So choices, overanalyzing, and procrastination. Yes, I do feel like, and we're going to get to your action cards and how to implement this energy right away, but I do feel like you can see this person, while she is in a peaceful environment. If you're listening on the podcast, this second card, the 9 of Earth, has a woman sipping tea in a beautiful garden full of fruit and flowers and abundance. But they're also very surrounded by their security. And there is another way to look at this card as almost hiding away from things. And then we have our 7 of Water card, which, again, I forgot to mention. I will mention now, coming up in our next episode right here on this podcast, Chris Reck from Minnow Pantera will be back. I'm super excited. He's going to be on my channel on the 25th live. So definitely check that out if you want to be in the comment section. We love seeing you guys in the live, but you can, of course, catch the recording right here as well. And in the set, when he sees the 7 of Water card, he's so intuitive and so amazing with his readings. He talks about this card, 7 of Water, being spoiled for choices. To me, that is the best way I have ever heard this card described, right? And sometimes you just don't know what's the best choice for you because there's so many choices. This is how I feel when I walk into a shopping mall. I am not a shopper and I walk in and I get overwhelmed. I need to have one thing I'm there for, get in and get out. But that is kind of the situation going on here. And it does bring up a lot of emotions. So let's go back to the overhead camera because I want to show you what I'm seeing here. I'm seeing that we come into the month of April feeling pretty safe and secure with the way we spend our time and energy, with where we're putting our attention and our money, because we did a lot of clearing in March, right? Maybe you did some spring cleaning, maybe you cut back on some expenses, maybe you invested in some things to help you feel secure. And now you're in this environment here where, yeah, you're surrounded by all this peaceful energy, but are you missing out on something new and exciting, something that will make you feel emotionally fulfilled? Could you be, setting yourself up for complacency or boredom if you don't go ahead and move forward with something? So with this 7 of Water card here, I feel like you're going to be doing some time contemplating, what do I want? And then you're going to need to make a choice. By the end of the month, you're going to be deciding about something that is going to be for your emotional security, but you're not going to quite know if it was the right choice until you make the choice. So let's get into your action cards. I think that's going to help you a lot. So your first action to take right now at the time you're hearing these messages is the 6 of Earth card. This is perfect. It says charity, generosity, and windfall. This is a card of activating that giving and receiving cycle. And so the first thing I can say to you right now is, if you're wanting to make a choice, you're not quite sure what it is, maybe it's something that you're offering for a barter, for an exchange, right? Whenever I see the 6 of Earth card, I think about how when I closed my small business consulting practice, for those of you who are new on my channel, I got my degree in accounting and business administration. I did small business consulting for 16 years until I shut it down and I went full-time into this work, this intuitive work. But before I completely shut that down, I went and rented a table at a local healing arts festival and I offered free animal communication and angel readings in exchange for practice, experience, reviews, emails, things like that. So it was kind of a bartering thing. I bartered with other intuitives. They gave me readings. I gave them readings, right? And it created contacts, it created community, and it brought a balance into where I felt more confident with my readings before I was actually charging. I was building up my other resources of confidence, experience, contacts, all those things. So what can you do right now to activate that giving and receiving cycle to see what choices you want to make. It's just like when somebody goes and does an internship and then, and this is me, I did an auditing internship at one of the big accounting firms, and I realized, not for me. I don't want to do that. But you don't know until you try it, right? So you need to invest some time and energy into something to see what is the right choice for you going forward. And then your second action card to take before we pull this all together is the Ace of Earth. You are going to need to go ahead and get started in April. You are going to need to invest time, energy, focus, and do what you got to do to get clear on, okay, this is the thing I'm committing to, this new thing I'm doing. Even if you're not quite sure what the outcome's going to be, you've got to try it to know, right? So that's really, as simple as it gets. If there's anything you've been contemplating trying, I mean, this woman is sitting here contemplating something. Maybe it's time to go ahead in April, get started with that idea. It is the beginning of the astrological new year. We are in that 1 year in the numerology cycle. We have the fire horse energy behind us. So let's get started with this. I would love to hear in the comment section, what are you thinking about trying? What is something you've always thought about trying, but you haven't? Are you going to be traveling or planning travel? I do read all your comments. Thank you guys so much, even if they're emojis. Thank you guys for liking, sharing, following, subscribing, all the things. And definitely, if you are listening on the podcast platforms, let me know. That's a new feature. I just launched it into the podcast platforms in January. But that was a launch for me. I don't know where I'm going with my podcast. I have ideas. I have things I want to do. And I'm going to be doing some new things in April as well. I don't know how they're going to look yet. I don't quite have the clarity. But I feel like with this Ace of Earth card here, it's just that reminder that this is your chance to get started so that when you look back 6 months from now, a year from now, you're so grateful you invested that time and energy, even if you end up changing your mind. Even if you picked a cup that made you say, oh, that's not for me. Not only did I realize I didn't want to do the auditing track after my internship, I thought I wanted to be a teacher. I did a stint teaching in a classroom in high school. Half a day I was in a kindergarten classroom. I realized, nope, that's not for me either. So I had to try it to know for sure. And I think a lot of us are being asked to just try it, invest a little time and energy. This is only one coin that this person is investing, right? Small investments, baby steps. But with the Six of Earth, just remember it is that giving and receiving. If you don't try, you won't know. If you don't get out there and offer somebody something, they're not going to know it's available. So for some of you, this could be getting out there in the dating scene again. All right, you guys, this has been such an honor. I hope you have an amazing April. Let me know how you're doing, and I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.